What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to talk to you about 𝗪𝗡𝗡𝗘𝗧. They just dropped their earnings. I'm going to go over the absolute key highlights from the earnings that you need to kind of be aware of. Aside from that, some general support and resistance points and what analysts are saying. Before we get into any of that, make sure you guys hit that thumbs up, and with that, let's get right to it. So it did close at 14.08, down 4.54%. So their earnings was early this morning, Monday, and so as you can kind of see right here, the current estimates were negative 14 cents for the earnings per share and 46.85 million for revenue for the estimates. And then earnings per share over the last 90 days, there was a 0 positive and 1 negative revisions to the earnings per share. So I'll go over some of the highlights near the end of the video, but going into the actual earnings, it was anticipated to be a fairly volatile one. So 12.75% was that implied move, and that works out to be almost like a $2 move in either direction. But luckily enough, the stock actually kind of stuck within that range. A lot of miners did do fairly well early this morning, was getting a kind of from that weekend pump from what came out from Trump, but still the broader market did kind of pull a lot of stocks down. As far as the options that was done today, you are seeing a consensus for it to be around that $18 range. So bulls are anticipating a nice recovery, and then the bears are anticipating for it to be sub 12. So you kind of have middle ground for that. As far as shorts, they did increase 8.87 thousand shares today, so not all that much. 12.87% of the free float is being shorted, works out to be 9.53 million shares overall are being shorted. Shorts did return leading into the earnings, so that leads me to believe that shorts were anticipating a little bit of a positive upside from their earnings. So again, I'm going to go over some of the highlights and stuff like that, but with it closing at 14.08, trading between this pivot and this S1, 13.62 is going to be that strong support that you really want to watch for that to hold. Flip side, $17.11 is going to be that next strong target / resistance point. High point for today was 17.45, so it's not all that far-fetched to again assume that could be touched. So just take note of some of the strong support and resistance points. Only one rating did come out as of today, and that was George, who has a 50% success rating. No price target given, but it was a buy. It is fair to assume, given this, that there might be at least 4 other ratings coming down the pipeline. So let me know your general thoughts on the stock. It is going down a little bit after hours during the overnight trading, so it is down 4.33%, over and above that where it closed at the 14.08. So it should be a very interesting couple of days as the broader market does digest like tariffs and all the other stuff. But let me know your thoughts on this stock. Do you own it? Do you sell it? Like, what's your overall kind of viewpoint on all of that? Side note, if you are looking for a lot of good information such as analyst ratings, forecasts, ownership, everything under the sun, take a look at 𝗪𝗡𝗡𝗧. For all of this to be completely free, link in the description below. Highly recommend a lot of people signing up, and honestly, it's a ton of information, so a lot of good stuff there. So with all that, let's get right to the kind of bare bones from their earnings.
𝗪𝗡𝗡𝗘𝗧 signals 2025 growth with 12 gigawatt power pipeline and $125 million Vega site annual revenue target. Earnings call Insights 𝗪𝗡𝗡𝗡𝗘𝗧 Corp. Q4 2024 Management View. CEO 𝗪𝗓𝗡𝗡𝗡 highlighted the successful transformation of the company in 2024, emphasizing operational optimization, a fortified capital strategy, and the development of a utility-scale power origination pipeline. The company achieved a 30% reduction in energy costs per megawatt hour and an 8-point increase in gross margin per Bitcoin mined from Q4 2023 to Q4 2024. The closure of the Drumheller site and the energization of the Salt Creek site were key operational changes, supported by the rollout of proprietary energy curtailment software. Reactor CFO Sean Glennon outlined the new reporting structure, which segments the business into power, digital infrastructure, and compute layers to provide enhanced financial transparency and align disclosures with the company's operational strategy. Strategic capital initiatives included converting a $37.9 million anchorage loan to equity, unencumbering 827 Bitcoin, and launching a $500 million ATM program coupled with a $250 million stock repurchase program. Institutional ownership surged from 12% to 55% during 2024. Outlook. Management plans to prioritize power development to fuel growth across layers, targeting a fleet efficiency improvement to 20.5 joules per terahash in Q1 2025. The company projects significant contributions from its Vega site, with expected annualized revenue of approximately $125 million upon full ramp. Development remains on track for Q2 2025. The 𝗪𝗧𝗛𝗏 site in Louisiana, a 300-megawatt facility, is positioned as a key asset for AI data centers, supported by abundant power resources and robust transmission lines. The company aims to expand its utility-scale origination pipeline, which already includes 12 gigawatts under diligence and 2.8 gigawatts under exclusivity, while targeting AI and HPC applications. Financial results. Revenue for the full year 2024 grew 69% year-over-year to $162.4 million. Net income was $331.4 million, with adjusted EBITDA reaching $555.7 million. Both figures were influenced by a $509.3 million gain on digital assets. The compute segment recorded $80.7 million in revenue, driven by increased Bitcoin mining, cloud services, and GPU compute contributions. Digital infrastructure revenue reached $17.5 million, supported by customer growth in traditional data centers. The power segment generated $56.6 million in revenue, reflecting strong performance in power generation and managed services. Q&A. 𝗪𝗓𝗡𝗡𝗘𝗖𝗧, H.C. Wainwright, questioned 2025 capital allocation priorities and Bitcoin purchasing strategy. CEO 𝗪𝗓𝗧𝗛 explained investments will focus on power development and infrastructure, leveraging financing mechanisms to manage construction costs. Patrick Moley, Piper Sandler, asked about the development pipeline's opportunities and AI data center capacity. 𝗪𝗓𝗡𝗡𝗖𝗧 highlighted 12.3 gigawatts of total pipeline capacity, with efforts focused on dual-use sites for AI and Bitcoin mining. Bill Papanastasiou, KBW, inquired about managed services growth following contract terminations. 𝗪𝗓𝗡𝗡𝗖𝗓 noted ongoing customer engagement, with managed services expected to complement digital infrastructure growth. John Todaro, Needham, asked about potential multi-customer opportunities at 𝗪𝗧𝗛𝗏. 𝗪𝗓𝗡 confirmed discussions with multiple large-scale customers, emphasizing site scalability and credit-worthy counterparties. Sentiment analysis. Analysts expressed a generally positive tone, with strong interest in the AI and HPC opportunities. Key concerns centered on capital allocation, project timelines, and managed services growth. Management maintained a confident tone, emphasizing disciplined capital deployment and strategic focus. Statements like, "We are committed to driving value through continuous improvement," reflected a constructive outlook. However, management was more reserved when addressing speculative AI customer agreements. Compared to the previous quarter, analysts' tone was more optimistic, reflecting progress in project milestones. Management's tone remained consistent, showcasing confidence in the strategic trajectory. Quarter-over-quarter comparison. Revenue grew from $43.7 million in Q3 2024 to $162.4 million for the full year 2024. Adjusted EBITDA demonstrated significant improvement. Power and digital infrastructure segments reported substantial revenue growth compared to Q3, driven by expanded service offerings and customer agreements. Management's focus shifted from restructuring in Q3 to growth and scalability in Q4. Analysts' focus evolved from fleet upgrades to broader strategic opportunities in AI and power origination. Sentiment remained optimistic across both quarters, with increasing emphasis on AI data centers and high-value infrastructure projects. Risks and concerns. Analysts raised concerns about 𝗪𝗧𝗡𝗏's ability to secure definitive AI customer agreements and maintain competitive advantages as the market evolves. Management flagged potential risks associated with market volatility, capital-intensive projects, and evolving regulatory landscapes. Strategic alternatives for the Ontario natural gas assets and potential delays in customer agreements at 𝗪𝗧𝗛𝗏 were identified as areas requiring careful management. Final takeaway. 𝗪𝗧𝗡𝗏's Q4 2024 earnings call showcased a year of transformation, highlighted by operational optimization, significant revenue growth, and strategic capital initiatives. With a robust power origination pipeline, key data center projects like Vega and 𝗪𝗪𝗛𝗏, and a focus on AI applications, the company is poised for growth in 2025. Management's disciplined approach to capital allocation and operational execution underpins its confidence in delivering long-term shareholder value.